Welcome back, everybody, to the Pittsburgh Pirates franchise as we are very near ending spring training. There's a few decisions left to be made, there's a few people to move around, and a few more games left to play. Let's go ahead and get right into it so we can get closer and closer to opening day. I've come to a decision now on Carson Fulmer. At 33 years old with C potential, a 76 overall, his attributes still look like he could help somebody, but his recent games show that in the last 10 that he has played, he has a 5.91 ERA. Through 10 and 2/3 innings, he's allowed 13 hits, 2 walks, and he has struck out 9 while allowing 7 earned runs and 4 home runs. It has been a rough go, and I just don't think that it's going to get very much better. With him nearing the top of his potential anyways, but at 33 years old, I mean, he should be on the decline. We should see those attributes start to fall. And last year when he played for us, he had a 4.61 ERA, so it might be getting worse right now. And I think it's the time to make a trade while we get some value out of him. I am going to be targeting a low risk trade, I guess it would be, for the Royals, as they will get Carson Fulmer and see if they can get anything out of him. But I'm going to be asking for Salvatore Cedeno, and he is only 18 years old. He's a 58 overall with only C potential, but this is about the max of what I've been able to find that would be acceptable. I did initially do just the suggest trades and look at prospects and see what the show offered me from these teams, and basically everybody was in the 40s or 50s overall. Some of them were package deals, but it's guys with D potential, C potential, just nothing at all really enticing. There was one guy with B potential, but he was like a 43 overall, so just nobody that's really at all had a chance. But I found Salvatore Cedeno, excuse me, and I felt like with his pitching clutch being the highest attribute there, that could really carry some of these other attributes if he does get into a position with runners on base. He's got a pretty high hits per 9 right now as well, and he's just a righty reliever. But at 18 years old, he's got plenty of room to grow. He throws 4 pitches, and I think that he could be serviceable. He could be a decent reliever in just a few years. And like I said, that's pretty much the ceiling of what we've been able to find for a trade for Carson Fulmer. So, to the Kansas City Royals he will go, and Salvatore will come over and join the Pirates. Against the Baltimore Orioles, we will be calling in Caleb Ferguson now, who has only had 2 innings pitched as well. It's just, I don't understand how the computer prioritizes it. In spring training with the expanded rosters, obviously I know it's tougher to get playtime for everybody, but over pretty much a solid month of being able to switch these guys out as much as you want, I mean, there's really no excuse to not get anybody some playtime. It's just a little silly, I think, and that it always comes down to this, where I've got to trim it kind of one by one. Kobe Mayo with a hard hit shot in the center field. But anyways, yeah. I'm going to take an extended look at Ferguson today. I'll put him in for, I think, at least 2 innings, so he should have the 6th and the 7th, as long as we can get through without too much damage. Obviously not worried about taking a win here, but I just want to get an extended feel for these guys and get them some stats to try to make a decision off of. And Happ weakly fouls that one away. It's 0-2. Try that sinker trailing away. I don't have anything that's really slow. That goes to Triolo. We'll flip over to Gonzalez. Back to first, and we've got him. A great double play. Now that the bases are cleared, it's Adley Rutschman. And he is in the 7th spot, and he will immediately get a line drive into right field. Sawinski giving chase, but has to play it off of the wall. And that's a 2-out double for Rutsch. Safe. All right, so with the runner in scoring position now, how does Ferguson handle this? We got the lefty-lefty matchup, and we'll begin with a cutter. And that is hit well. Again, it goes to right field. There's a magnet out there, I swear. And that will score Rutschman as Jones has an RBI double, and the Orioles pull within 1. Come on, Ferguson. We need to get out of this, buddy. Jackson Holliday in the 9th spot is now averaging just .217, so he's cooled off in spring training. Maybe this will be the guy that we'll get. Let's try a cutter trailing away. Yep, that's a good spot. Holliday's able to foul it off. And we're ahead now 0-2. Time for that big-time slurve. And yes, it goes inside instead of out, but we freeze Holiday and get the strikeout. Top of the 7th now, the lineup is turned over, and Baltimore has chosen to bring in Jorge Mateo for a pinch hit spot. And that's a bunt, and we know the speed of Mateo. Triolo trying to get it as quick as he can, just runs right past it. Alrighty then. And Heston Kjerstad comes off the bench now. Probably see a steal attempt from Mateo. Not on the first pitch, though. I think we're going to try to pitch out and try to catch the steal attempt. I think he's going. And he is not going. Wow. Okay, 99 speed and like an 89 steal rating, and they're not going to have him go. I don't know. All right, 1-1. No, misses just below the zone. The 2-1. And we don't get that call either.
3-1.
Yeah, he's even got a question. Yeah, you sure? Okay. All right, well, I guess whatever you say goes, huh? Till we get the ABS system. All right, that cutter is called. And it's a full count now. Let's try that slurve. Yes, that is lifted from Kjerstad into left field for Reynolds, who will field it. We got our first non-productive out. Whoa, the throw goes by him. Wow, Arise haven't even reacted. It goes by him as well. What's going on? Wow, where did they hide the clown car? That's ridiculous. And now we've got amazing blazing speed on second base for James Gonzalez to come in and try to bring in Mateo. As Baltimore wants to tie this game. We've had their number in spring training, but this is the final match that we have with them. Oh, that's it well. It goes to left field. Reynolds, we're going to try the throw home. We burned people before. And no, they say we don't get Mateo. Come on. Oh, that was so close. That's 99 speed for you right there. Just incredible. That throw is slightly offline. I still feel like Bart should have been able to get him. Oh, yeah, I mean, you're trying to tag something that's not there, Joey. Well, that's a tie game now, and with still one out, there's a runner now on first base, and Luis Vasquez at the plate will watch strike one come through. He missed below the zone with a sinker. 1-1 to Vasquez, and that's a called strike at the top of the zone. We'll try the cutter, and oh, come on! That should have been strike three. Instead, the count evens. All right, what about a fastball inside? No, we can't get that call either? Yeah, I'd be really frustrated right now. I mean, I am frustrated, but if I was Caleb Ferguson, I'd really be like, come on, man. You got to be kidding me. This zone is shrinking and moving and getting all over the place. And I'm just going to try to take the safe out there at first base. We probably could have turned two, but I'm really nervous sometimes, depending on like where that ball goes specifically and like him having to pull that out of the dirt. I just feel like it would have been an awkward throw, and the first base out was more sure. Candelario misses on the first strike. The cutter comes through for strike two. And we'll target the slurve. No, that's not even close to where I wanted it. Not even close to the zone. That's in a whole nother zip code. What about a sinker? 1-2. Well, we miss it, but that goes to center field where Cruz is back out there. The manager must have done that. That wasn't me. And that'll do it for Ferguson. And that'll do it for Ferguson. Top of the 8th in a tie ball game, and it's time to bring in Carmen Mujinski. Higashioka here to lead off the top of the 8th for Baltimore, as we'll get our look at Mujinski. That's a good cutter that gets through for strike one. Good fastball gets in there for strike two in the same spot. Let's try that sweeper trailing away. Way too far outside. Do we have any more control over the slider? Yes, we do. Mujinski's going to have to assist on this one. We throw over to Arise, and we've got him. A good first at-bat there for Mujinski. Rutschman back to the plate now, switching over to the opposite side. And we get another good fastball. Everything except for the sweeper has gone where I wanted so far. As soon as I say that, we miss on the fastball, of course. Let's try a circle change. Haven't thrown that yet. Nope, that's a big-time miss. Okay, 2-1. Let's try to even it back up with the cutter. Yes, we do. And Rutschman takes a piece of it with him. And let's see if with slider will backdoor him. It goes inside anyways, and Rutschman swings and misses. That's a nice strikeout. Majinski moving through this Baltimore lineup pretty good so far. And on his third batter, it's another first strike. Grounded foul for a rise. All right, let's try the circle change one more time, 0-2. And we got him! It misses below and away, but that's a swing and a miss, so I will absolutely take the strikeout. And I'm going to leave in Majinski here in the top of the ninth, as it is still a tie ball game, and his energy is looking just fine. It's about 80% or so. Another really good first pitch strike. Love that we're leading off these at-bats by getting ahead of them. Cutter, and it is foul down the third base line past a diving Schumann. All right, circle change incoming 0-2. That one's better, and it's fouled away by Holiday. Let's try the slider. Oh, man, that's perfect.
1 ball.
This umpire's killing me this game. And he goes around on the cutter. That's a makeup call for us. Thank you very much. Jorge Mateo back in. And that's a bunt attempt that does barely go foul. Okay, this one's going far away. I don't want this anywhere near the zone in case he bunts again. Oh, he goes after it. Not a bunt, but for some reason swings. Okay. Let's try that sweeper. I know it goes way left of where I'm aiming, so let's try aiming pretty much center of the zone, trailing down and in, or down and away. Well, that's also still not even close. Okay. So the sweeper's not it. What about the slider? And that is just wildly away.
1-2.
I don't know what's going on here. We've been more accurate with the cutter. 1 and 2. Nope. We missed below the zone.
2 strikes.
And that cutter misses wildly as well. We are all over the place with him. Is the only thing that works a fastball? Okay, I guess it is. I aim center of the zone because at this point I'm just like, forget it. I'll challenge him. And he watches it. What a strange at-bat that was. All right, final batter here in the top of the ninth for Baltimore. It will be Heston Kjerstad. Unless he can extend the inning, that is, of course. No call there. Majinski's still a victim of this umpire. Fastball's fouled away. The cutter gets in there on the outer edge, and we're down to the final strike. Can the circle change finally work, please? Well, yeah, that's pretty much right where I wanted it to go. That's fine, but Kjerstad stays alive. And we'll try the slider one more time. Oh, my, you're kidding me. Yeah, I don't, what else do you have to do? That's a perfect pitch, man. I really am curious how MLB The Show is going to handle the ABS system as far as, like, game design. Like, what are they going to implement to make that feel fair? And Kjerstad lifts that high behind the plate for Joey Bart, and we've got our third out. Excellent stretch of innings there for Majinski. And in extra innings now, as neither team has been able to close this thing down, we do bring in Brian Abreu. He's been awesome through his 12 2/3 innings pitched with a 2.13 ERA so far. Let's see how he handles that extra base runner against the Baltimore Orioles. Start off with a four-seamer, and we miss.
Inside.
That's not very close. Let's try that one more time. Okay, that's another one that's elevated a lot more than I wanted to. Not going in the right place so far. Let's try a slider. And that is dead center of the zone. That also is not really where I'm aiming. That's supposed to go just outside the zone, where those chevrons end. Swing and a miss from Gonzalez. That's another miss on the slider, though. And I'm not liking the control issues. Let's try to go back to the fastball. That's pretty good. Okay, yeah, even Bart lets him know. Okay, try the circle change for the first time. And nope, that is a miss by some order of magnitude.
1 strike.
Fastball is a little close. Not quite. What about the slider again? Yes! Oh, no. Okay. Just throw over to first. Yep, thank you. A little bit of a delay there, but we got him at first. No problem yet. So 2 outs for Abreu as Baltimore brings in a pinch hitter, and it is Samuel Basallo. He's making big waves in real life right now for the Baltimore Orioles. And he fouls that first pitch away. Circle change misses far below and away. Fouled away, and we are down to the final strike for them. And the slider's got him again. Abreu gets out of it with a runner in scoring position, and we get all 3 outs to strand him. I am going to go ahead and call it on Caleb Ferguson. We've only given him 4 innings of play, and it's been challenging so far. I just don't think that he's quite where I want him to be. He does have 2 more options in his contract, so he will be the next one to go down to AAA. Well, never mind. He's got at least 5 years of service time and must consent to it, so I will have to designate him for assignment, and he might actually get picked up by somebody. So now I got to wonder, do we trade instead? Well, I have stumbled on a solution to the extra men on the roster problem, as Peter Sturzelecki and Caleb Ferguson were 2 guys who were kind of vying for the final spots here on the 26-man roster. And in an effort to figure out a solution on what to do with him, I was going to send Caleb Ferguson down to the minor leagues, but because he has 7 years of MLB service, I would have to designate him for assignment, and I do absolutely believe that he would be picked up by a team as a 72 overall pitcher with C potential. He's 30 years old and a lefty arm. He does carry some value. And so there's absolutely teams that would try to go after him and pick him up. And so to get something for him instead of nothing, I put him up on the trade block, and then I had the idea, well, you know what? Peter Sturzelecki is even older, and he's got a 71 overall, so he is a little lower there with C potential as well. Another guy that carries value, but not quite fitting into the design that I have in mind for this bullpen. And so if I package them together, I was like, well, what do I want to target? Who do we want to go after? And I'm thinking in the future now of closing pitchers, because obviously we've got Colin Holderman in that role right now. We also could say David Bednar could be our closer over the next few years, but if he declines, and he's 32 years old, so he might, then we might be in a real bad situation because there's nobody else. There's no other prospect that we have as a closing pitcher. And so I looked around at who had somebody that we could possibly go after, and I discovered Kirby DeVino. He's a closing pitcher right now for the Rangers. He's got A potential. He's 68 overall, and he also throws lefty. He's got an extreme K per 9 rating of 80 right now, which is awesome to see. He also has a pitching clutch rating of 71. He does only throw 3 pitches. His cutter is his primary, and then he alternates between a changeup and a slider. But an A potential 68 overall right now, rookie? I think so. So I'm going to make this trade, and we'll see if that benefits us or if we've given up 2 quality relievers over to the Texas Rangers. That might come back to bite us. And with the roster trimmed down to the 26 required to begin the MLB season, I will go ahead and skim through these last 2 games. We did pick up that win in extras versus Baltimore in the last game. And against Toronto, there's a situation with Brian Abreu, but I will leave that. I'm very eager to get to opening day, so we'll sim it. It's 3-3 in the bottom of the 9th with 1 out. And the Blue Jays do topple the Pirates. The final game of spring training, the Pirates versus the Twins, Andrew Abbott versus Bailey Ober. And that is a 3-0 shutout win to end spring training, where we finish with a 13-15 record. Let's go ahead and take a look and recap some of the stats that these guys did. On the offensive side of the ball first, we've got home run leaders with Brian Reynolds and, surprisingly again, Luis Arraez. That power has come up through our training. He's a 48 versus power righty and 43 versus power left, but his clutch, vision, and contact righty are all near maxed out on there. I really love to see that. We just need to work on that defense, and I'd like to add a little more power. Surprisingly, that discipline is incredibly low. It's 38, and for as much as he gets on base, that's really wild to see. Joey Bart, Jock Peterson, and Jack Sawinski all had 4 home runs themselves, so I like flexing the power there. And O'Neill Cruz had 3, Schumann 3 as well, and Seidlinker, who did really, really good through that spring training stretch. We then move to RBIs, and the most valuable player by RBI stats would be Brian Reynolds, followed by O'Neill Cruz, Luis Ariz, Jack Sawinski, and Steve Seidlinker, all coming in above double digits. Evan Carter, in his return to Major League play here in spring training, stole 4 bases. That's pretty cool to see. O'Neill Cruz had the most with 5, though. And for the average, it was actually Max Schumann, and by a large margin, by 161 average points. That's just crazy. So he had 38 at-bats, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, 2 steals, and a 447 average. Max Schumann was on a tear, and maybe it's because he fears his position with Seidlinker. Joey Bart and Jack Sawinski both come in just 0.04 points away from each other, so very close there. Seidlinker at an even 250, Ariz at 240, which I had said before is about the floor of what I want him to be at. I'd like to see that go a lot higher, but right now that's all we're getting out of him. For OBP, it is Max Schumann again in his limited at-bats, and then Jack Sawinski through 85 at-bats. So very consistent and really, really happy to see for this stretch of time, basically the entire month of March, that Sawinski is still as hot as ever. For slugging, it is still Schumann, and then Sawinski, Bart, and Reynolds. For the OPS, Schumann again. He was the best hitter that we had through 38 at-bats. If he would have gotten more playing time, I imagine these would have come down to earth just a little bit, but it's still awesome to see Schumann turn this thing up. On the pitching side of things, or rather on the mound side of things, Paul Skeens had the most innings pitched by a difference of 4 between him and Jared Jones, and it is a stark difference in the stat lines. Paul Skeens went 1-1 officially with his record. He did strike out 33, so the K per 9 is still looking good, but that ERA at 5.46 and the whip at 1.28 are far higher than what we're used to seeing out of our ace. Jared Jones, to follow him with 25 and 2/3 innings pitched, also matches him on the 101 record. He does get less strikeouts at 17, but that ERA is nearly half of what Paul Skeens registered. It's a 2.81, and the whip is actually just 1 point higher at 1.29. Shane Baz, to follow those two up, went for 22 innings with 19 strikeouts, took 3 losses, and had an ERA of 4.5 with the whip of 1.32. Zach Littell ended up having a pretty good spring training, going for just over 20 innings with 12 strikeouts and a 3.54 ERA. And Andrew Abbott had another challenging section of time here in spring training, where he only went for 18 innings, 16 strikeouts, which is nice, but that ERA at 5 is looking pretty ugly. For relievers, Hunter Harvey through 15 innings had 15 strikeouts with a 0 ERA. Nobody was able to score on our boy, and his whip is still very low at a 0.73. Newcomer Brian Abreu had 14 1/3 great innings with 14 strikeouts and a 2.51 ERA and a just barely over 1 whip. Garrett Clevenger trying to match Hunter Harvey, as these two have been in lockstep basically the entire time we've had both of them. He goes for 14 innings and picks up 8 strikeouts and has a 0.64 ERA and a 1.36 whip. That whip being a little higher, actually more than double what the ERA is, really promising. That means he's working out of those situations. Carmen Mlodzinski had a pretty damn good spring training, if I do say so myself. He was one of those question marks, and through 11 1/3, he struck out 11 to match it and had a 2.38 ERA with a sub-1 whip. So he did a really, really good job at not just limiting base runners, but also keeping the ERA down through his limited innings pitched. Dowry Moretta also impressed me, and he will be staying in the bullpen to start this year. He did take 2 losses, but through 11 1/3, he got 11 strikeouts with a 3.18 ERA and a 1.41 whip. David Bednar was perfect through spring training with 7 innings pitched and 6 strikeouts. Nobody was able to score on him, and his whip is low at a 1.14. Colin Holderman did not see very much play, but it's because I'm really not concerned right now. If we start seeing some signs of Colin Holderman, floundering and that ERA start climbing, the whip getting higher, then we'll start having that discussion. But for right now, I didn't really focus at all on putting Holderman in games or in certain situations. So he only played for 5 2/3, picking up 5 strikeouts, 1 loss, a 3.18 ERA, and a sub-1 whip. So I'm not really concerned, and I don't think there's any reason to be. Dennis Santana went for 5 innings and got 6 strikeouts with a 3.60 ERA and a 1.20 whip. Another one that I was not really concerned about at all going into spring training, and so I did not really take a very close look at him or put him into a bunch of situations. Spring training has officially come to an end, and that means it's time to kick this thing into gear and get started in year 3. That will be all for this video, though. I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and I can't wait to get year 3 started with a couple new additions that we hopefully have strengthened this Pittsburgh Pirate team, and we can make a serious run into the playoffs intentionally this year. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.